What's going on, guys? It's Zachary here. Today we are going to be going over how to send some KPIs from GoHighLevel over into a Slack channel. Essentially, the KPIs that we are measuring today is going to be the percentage of inbound versus outbound messages that a setter sends through GoHighLevel. Right, so basically to start off, what you're going to need to do is go into your GoHighLevel dashboard and go into the setter's account that you actually want to track. We actually have 3 accounts for this example. And then what we're going to do is go over to settings, private integrations, and basically what you're going to need to do is create a API key or an integration for each one of the setters that you want to track. Next, you're going to want to head over to N8N, and we are going to be having 2 workflows that we'll be using to kind of send this data to Slack. The first one is actually going to grab all of the messages that have been sent throughout the day. So essentially what this workflow is doing is right at the start, it's pulling the data from the Google Sheet, basically where all of the data is going to be exported, to make sure that it's not grabbing any duplicate data. Then this first code here, what it does is it just separates each person, right, each setter, with their own API key as well as their location ID, which is data that you need to pull to actually get the data. The next request is actually grabbing all of the message history data as well as grouping it with the phone number and the setter. And then this code right here is actually grabbing the messages that were sent. This request right here is formatting it into a nicer looking version of itself, right? And then this one right here basically now is targeting it as inbound versus outbound. And also this final one is now checking to see if it already exists in the Google Sheet. And all of these already exist in the Google Sheet, so it won't send any data to the last one. That actually goes ahead and updates the Google Sheet. So over in the actual Google Sheet, what we have here is message ID, conversion ID, all of these different information basically that we are able to track from each message that is actually sent. And basically what we want to focus on is outbound versus inbound, as well as, you can have the body type and then the phone number of where it's actually coming from. And then that brings us over to the, also I have this running on an hourly basis. What you can also set it up to do is just run once a day. I like to run it multiple times a day, just so I can watch it and make sure that no errors occur. Once you get it to the point where there are no errors actually occurring, then you could set it to just run once a day. But then you come over to the Slack sender module. This one's pretty simple. Once a day at 5 p.m. It gets all of the rows in the sheet for today's value. Right, we can even execute it, right? Gets all of the rows in the sheets. And then here, this one formats it, right, and actually grabs the data and puts it into a nice formatting. Then this one here actually calculates out the data, right? So as you can see here, Kristen had a 0 response rate, Mateo had a 81.3 response rate, Owen had a 73.3 response rate. The benchmarks are here as well. And then you have the final message here to actually send the message to Slack. Yeah, it's a pretty simple flow. A lot of code actually goes into it, which caught me off guard because I don't know how to code. But I was able to push through and figure it out. If you want this workflow, this exact one, just shoot me a message on Instagram. I'll pop it up right here. And I'll send it over to you, and you can install it into your business. All you would really need to change, right, is obviously your, you would have to link your own Google account, your own Slack account, and then in this code right here, you would put your own API keys and your own location ID for your own business. Sweet. Yeah, that is all for me for this video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.